Velkommen her til en ny udgave af SFÅ Special, vores særlige format, hvor vi går bag om kampene og rundt om klubben og taler med forskellige folk, der har noget på hjerte, når det handler om OB. I august havde vi Rasmus Falk på besøg. I september lavede vi en transfer special med Troels Bech, som også var på besøg. Og her i oktober der er der igen blevet tid til et spillerinterview. Gæsten præsenterer jeg om lidt. Udsendelsen her den er nemlig bragt i samarbejde med Fynske Bank og Albani, og den her gang kommer det til at foregå på engelsk, og det er det sprog, vi fortsætter på nu. From now on, I will speak English because we are happy to welcome our special guest today, Fiete Arp. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Directly from training or?
Very directly.
Yeah, okay.
Even some minutes late.
No problem. Was it a good training though?
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like after this international breaks, you always have some kind of more energy. So especially the first days are always on a very high level.
Yeah. Did you go anywhere in the national break, or were you in here in Odense?
I went to Germany, not to my hometown, but to a wedding of one of my best friends.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for the next game as a team? You had this break, 16 days from the Sønderjyske game to the Viborg game. Do you feel ready for the next couple of games and the next period in the Superliga?
I mean, of course, I have to say yes. We are still waiting for one or the other player to come back from their national teams. But as I just said, after a short break, or this time an even longer break, you always have some kind of more energy. Injured players coming back, like Max Eidum right now, for example. It's always a good feeling coming back after some off days, and I feel like we are ready. I feel like we should be ready. Let's say it like that.
And what about yourself? You had some minor issues physically before the national game. I think Soniker said that a couple of times. You also said you had something with your back in one of the games. Are you 100% fit?
I feel like at some point or sometimes. In your career, especially for me, when you have never really played a full season, then you might not be at 100% for many games, and it's more important to somehow find a way to deal with it in a good way. And I would say mentally I am at 100%. There's the one or other minor issue, but as I said, also injuries are good to handle during a longer break like we just did. So I feel better than 2 weeks ago. Let's put it like that.
Okay, good to hear. We would like to speak to you about your first month in Odense, and we also a bit about your past and your road to this club. And finally, I have some questions about your dreams and hopes for the future. I hope you're ready for a good chat in half an hour or something.
Totally.
Great. Let's go.
Godt, stort fynsk bøgetræ. Det taber ikke så meget som et eneste blad, fordi der er nogle svin, der gnubber sig op ad stammen.
Some Danish words, and there will come a bit more Danish words now, because I just have a message from one of our sponsors. Ja, vi tager lige lidt på dansk her. Jeg vil sige tak til vores partner fra Fynske Bank, inden vi går videre her. Fynske Bank er den lokale bank, og jeg så et skilt i Odense i dag, hvor der stod, vi er fans af Fyn. Det er nemlig en bank, der støtter og styrker det fynske foreningsliv. De støtter både idrætsklubber og foreningslivet over hele øen, og så er de altså også partner her hos Stemmer Fra Ådalen. Overvejer du at skifte bank, eller vil du have ekstra øjne på din økonomi, så tag fat i Fynske Bank. Alright, Fiete, it's been 4 months since you were presented as a new player here in this club in OB. First of all, the football. How do you look back on the first 11 games in the season so far?
I feel like we've done some good things, but from the beginning until now, it's the stability, and that's probably the biggest topic, because I feel like, especially against the bigger teams, let's put Brøndby away, but especially against the bigger teams, you could tell how much power and how much energy we can create and how good we can be. It just felt very unstable in too many games, or even during the games. We mostly had a very good first half, and then had a big fall off in the second. And yeah, that's probably the main thing that we still have to work on, because it's not like we have every single week 90 minutes of just playing nonsense. It feels like when we're on the highest level, then we're the most vulnerable to crack, and that's something interesting and weird at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what do you think about that issue with the second half, or the last 20-30 minutes? We've seen it in a lot of games that the opponent score, you don't have the control of the game, or something like that. What are your explanation from your point of view?
I think when you have a new coach that will develop a whole new system, that it's very common that, especially against teams that are doing almost the same things over many years and have the same core in the team over many years, when you have to make changes on the pitch, and that's not even the coach outside, that's some players, let's say Rasmus, for example, Björn, or also me, when we see something and we want to change something, it's easier to do that in a team that works together for years. And that's something that mostly happens in the second half, when you have to adapt to what changes the other team did in halftime. And I feel like that's something we have to improve a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it's not the energy. I mean, we're still running until the end. It's not that we kind of think we're through, or just try to do less. It's just a weird feeling, because we're still into it and everybody's on their limit physically, but we just don't get where we want to be. So
okay. What about yourself? Are you satisfied with your own performance? You said before it's maybe the first time you're playing every game almost. How are you satisfied with your own performance so far?
Well, I'm satisfied with or at least over the first games, with the stats. And for the position that is also new for me as well, satisfied, with some episodes of different games, but I still don't really feel like I'm at my level, or let's say the way I want to play. I'm not close to that yet.
Okay.
Especially in these situations that we just talked about, especially in tough situations in second halves, when it's when we're up by one goal, or when we need something to create a spark. I feel like that's my biggest topic for myself, to be more available and more stable in these situations as well.
So the position is new for you, this attacking midfield, or number 10, or what can I say? Yeah,
I mean, offensively, it's natural, I think, but especially in the build-up, when I'm sometimes dropping into our half, sometimes when we switch formations defensively on the left wing, and dropping very much. I would not say I have never played it, but only to replace for one game or something.
Yeah, in the Brøndby game, I saw you almost going down on the defense when you should build up. I don't think that's the point, isn't it? Or
that was, for example, one of the things I just talked about. Some adjustments you do during the game, because we subbed in Jonah on the left wing back, and of course he's thinking very offensively. So then I'll be like, okay, I will cover him a little bit, because we conceded way too many goals already. So I will try to play a bit more defensively.
Okay. What I've noticed is that you've already been a very popular player among the fans. Of course, you scored some goals, but also the way your presence in the game are. It's like your teammates can play with the ball and everything will be fine. Some fans will think that when we see you play, because you have this in Danish it's called overskud. You have it looks like you have a level of and some quality that not many players in the Danish league have. Do you see yourself as a profile, or a star player, or a leader of this team?
I would never call anyone a star player in a team sport, to be honest.
Okay.
I would like to be a leader, of course, and I think that's when I came here and when I talked about what my goal is for my time here, that is one of the main reasons to become a leader of a team, and I would like to be that. I'm trying to be, but I'm not there yet, because it's always easy when you score when it's going well, but especially in the hard moments, I feel that I'm also acting a bit different than I should, and it's lovely to hear that. But as I just said, especially when it comes to some critical situations on the pitch, I feel like I would like to be that player more that you just described.
Yeah. So you would like to take even more responsibility during the games, but what about after the games or between games? How do you see your own role in the team in that point of view?
I think that's something that is very easy for me. Outside of the pitch, to be the locker room guy, to also go forward to anyone in the team. If it's the young players, if it's the more experienced players, I've always been that guy. I've always been someone that likes to talk about things inside of the locker room, if it's fun things or if it's serious things. And I will always be the guy when nobody is saying something that will probably say something.
Yeah.
And I know that the team and also the coaches are expecting that more and more from me, to especially in some tough situations, then be one of the guys saying something, and that's new to me.
Yeah, okay.
That's new to me, because before, when I didn't play, maybe you can imagine, if you don't play that much, you don't want to be that guy talking afterwards. So that's a new thing, especially after a loss, when I feel like I played a bad game, then to come back in the locker room and talk about it, because usually I would feel like, okay, you played bad as well, so you better don't speak about it. But someone has to do it, and Falk is a good role model in that case, and I try to learn from him, for example, as well.
Okay, it's interesting, and another interesting thing is a few weeks ago we had the sporting director Troels Bech in the studio here. He talked about culture. And he mentioned your speech you had after your first game from OB, and he said that you told the locker room, you said, everybody, I've never tried to play more than 4 games in the starting 11 in a row. Your guys who are not in the starting 11 today, take it easy. In the end of the season, you will play, and maybe we will be outside. And he said that's a perfect example of which culture we want to build in this club, because we want this team geist, this team spirit. Was that something that just came to you when you should say those words, or did you plan it? How was your own thoughts about it?
I think when you spend many years in a certain role of a team, like I did, then you will always think about, what would I do if I would be the one guy playing? What would I do if I was in a positive situation and just see the other guys? And there was a spontaneous reaction, I have to admit. But yeah, that's a big thing I've learned over the last years, because I was so many times not in the squad or just sitting on the bench for 90 minutes, and then the next week 2 players got sick, and you just start all of a sudden. And if you, for example, I just take the goalkeeper situation right now as an example. Now we had 3 goalkeepers playing already, and I'm pretty sure all of them were very disappointed or angry at some point that they didn't play. So it's obvious, and it happens in every single team, in every league around this planet. And I feel like if you manage somehow that the players that are in a good spot right now, that are happy, that are satisfied, take care of the others, I feel like then you have a big advantage to some other teams that will definitely have a hard time doing that.
Yeah. And how is it for you? It must be very special for you if you haven't tried to play more than 4 games in a row in the starting lineup, to now be one of the most important players for the coach, and one of the first players he will put on the team sheet. How is it for you to experience that change in your role from your former clubs to now?
It was weird. Of course, it's a new but very nice feeling. Because many times I was stepping on the pitch and I felt like, okay, if I do 2 or 3 mistakes, I'll be the first one out. And I think for my game, as my game is not fully developed, I need some kind of safety around me to develop into a really experienced or mature player. So this is giving me a lot of confidence and a lot of let's say I think confidence is a perfect word. To also dare to do some weird things, some dangerous, risky things on the pitch. But yeah, it's new. It's also some kind of responsibility that is new for me as well. Because if I get the trust that I will usually play for most of the game, then of course I should not be one of the players to hide in certain situations. And that's what I said earlier. It's something that I'm processing right now as well.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the league in general. What are your thoughts on the level of the Superliga as you have experienced it in the first 11 games?
Yeah, I think it's everybody says that about his own league, but I think it's a very equal league when it comes to qualities, especially the first lineups of every team. You can tell by now. I would say all of the teams have some kind of will to play football. There's not one team in the league that is just playing a destroying football. You have good technical players, you have good tactical players, you have physicality. So you have many good players, and I think the past years show how many players are leaving for bigger leagues around Europe. And the quality is on a level that I think still many countries in Europe would underestimate. So I think I'm not surprised because I've played against some Danish teams before. But I feel like only the way the games go sometimes is somehow a bit weird. If you look at our games, that you have 45 minutes of dominating the opponent, and then you come out of halftime and it's just the whole opposite. So that's probably something that other leagues doesn't, or let's say Germany, for example, in the Bundesliga is not happening like that. That teams are just switching so much. Let's say the momentum can switch very fast here.
Yeah, definitely. That's and OB is maybe one of the best examples of that. This is also a classic question, and maybe footballers always know what they want to answer here. But what are your experience of the fans and the atmosphere? You've played in the bigger league and on bigger stadiums, but what are your how do you think about the fans and the atmosphere in the stands?
I mean, I've seen some nice games, some nice moments here already, especially in the beginning of the season. But without knowing too much about the short-term history, you can tell it's very, very, very shifty. It's very unstable as well. It goes very fast. That also, I mean, the whole energy of the stadium inside of the team and with the fans is not stable enough for some situations. And I understand. I understand it in some games, but in other moments, it feels weird how fast it can go. For example, now the last home game against Sønderjysk, I mean, we all wanted to have more than a point. In the end, it was still a point, and it felt like we were relegated. And I don't know. It's always hard to tell if the energy is built inside of the team and then just shifts over to the fans, or if it's the other way. I don't know. But I feel like there's so much potential in here, and you cannot just put it on the results every single time, because we want to create more than just results. And I feel like this is something that has to grow over some years, probably not just 4 months. But I would love to, whenever I leave at some point, to say that we created something stronger than we have right now, because right now it still feels like a very unstable marriage, let's say like that.
That's interesting. And I've talked to Alexander Zorniger about this also, where he says he's also, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but he's mentioned for me that there's it goes like this, up and down all the way, all the time. The fans can be very joyful, but also very depressed, and you can hear it in the stadium. He has also talked to the fans after games. The coach went out speaking to them, asking for more support. Actually, are we too demanding or too depressed here in Odense to deliver that support that the team needs, or what do you think?
I would say just vulnerable.
Yeah,
I feel
vulnerable,
like, and not just the fans. I feel like it's everything around the club that feels vulnerable because of the past years, and that's totally understandable. I think it's somehow similar to what I've witnessed in Hamburg some years ago, because it's like a sleeping lion that is just waiting to finally grow again and to finally go back to the top. But of course, then you will always, especially after the start of the season with the draw in Midtjylland, with the win against Viborg, and you feel like, oh, now we're back again, but then, oh no, we're not. So I don't know. I think actually this whole, because you have the core that is always there. You always have the core. But I don't know. I would say demanding, yes, but also just hungry and waiting for that, and I totally understand that. It's the same for us, but I can guarantee you we will, and I think that's something. If we played the worst games like we did also this year, we will never stop working. I don't think it's a mentality thing, and that's probably the thing what I then in the end don't understand, because if we play horrible football sometimes, if we lose the whole game, if we lose confidence, if we just play a horrible half, for example, I don't think that's a team that just gives up. And even if we conceded 4 or 5 goals in some games, but we still, even if nothing was working, we still tried. And then nothing was working still, but we're still running, and that's probably the thing that we want to show. But yeah, it's hard to see that maybe from the outside when you're losing by 5 goals.
But I think you're right in the word vulnerable. And in Denmark we have this saying called a burnt child, and OB fans are calling themselves burnt child because they have so much pain. So like Hamburg, like you said before, it's a good club to compare OB with, because it's also a big club who was successful in the past and are hoping for new glory.
But I'm wondering now. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
What I mean, of course, I can understand what the wish or the desire is, but what is the clear expectation, like the realistic expectation? Because I think right now, if you look in the league, and here it feels like we're not halfway there and we're not satisfied at all. But if you look at the league right now, tell me which teams are happy then. I mean, what is the expectation? We're at 9 right now. We could be higher. If we, I mean, only by 2 or 3 points, we would be 5th, I think. So like, it's a weird league, and sometimes you have to see your situation, not just game for game, but your situation.
Exactly, and I think that people forgot about I forgot about the past after the first 2 games, after the great performance in Midtjylland and the victory against Viborg in the game 2. I think people forgot that OB was promoted and had so many troubleful years before this, because I think you're right. From my point of view, before the season, I thought OB would be maybe number 7, maybe number 8, maybe number 9, maybe number 10. In that, some of those positions in the league, because you're promoted and it's a new coach, a whole lot of new players. But then 2 games in, party in the stadium, 13,000 of fans. That's 13,000 fans. That was a record. So I guess the hype. There's also a short way to a good mood in Odense. So it goes both ways, I guess.
Yeah, it does.
One thing is the football. What about outside the pitch? I saw you posted one day on Instagram that I think you said you can't. I can't say a negative word about this city or something like that.
They could never make me hate you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Okay, can you say a bit more about that?
Yeah, I still can, because I feel like now when it's getting cold and windy, maybe it's not 100% love anymore. But I don't know. I felt a lot of peace and a lot of good energy from the first day here, and I just loved going out without having a plan and just walk around the city and just soak all of the calmness and it's so relaxing here for me to be here. Like all of the certain places, all of the people, or most of the people I've met here is just very, very warm for me, and I totally enjoyed this, especially the summer and or the last months here, because I don't know, I have never been to a place where I enjoyed just going out by myself so much like I did here.
Okay. So is that what you do when you have time off, walking around the city?
That's actually what I've done a lot this year. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of wanted to explore my new home place for myself in some way. Yeah. Of course, sometimes I would ask a teammate out or something, but most of the times I would just be walking and creating my own picture of many of the places here. And I think that was a good idea, because every single day, everybody that asked me from Germany, I just said I will definitely not come back. That's what I said to most of my friends and family.
Okay. And you are here alone? You live alone?
Yes.
In an apartment here in Odense?
Yes, correct.
Do you have a favorite place then? A favorite spot in Odense?
There are some by now, but I live kind of close to the Munkemose.
Yeah.
That's or at least in summer it was my favorite place.
It's best in the summer.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's one of the I don't think I should say it because it's still my safe space.
Of course.
Yeah, but there are some places in the city where you can do some creative things as well.
Yeah. Okay. Are you social with any of the teammates? Of course you are, but are there people you are hanging more out with than others?
Yeah, but there's at this point there's more than a handful of guys that I will whenever I'm bored I just send out a message to 6-7 guys. There is a Bergi that lives right next to me who took me kind of on or reached his hand out from the first day.
Nice.
There's the young guns with Max, Theo, Gustav, some locals. Falk is very, of course, very busy at home with his family. Yeah. But he's one of the guys as well. And then, of course, the Germans. Yeah. Of course, the Germans.
Yeah, of course. And you're also kind of in between. There's some old guys and some young guys, and you're some of the ones in the middle, I guess. Have you been in Odense or in Denmark before moving here? I know you maybe visited the country, but have you been in vacation here, seen some of the cities, or is it your first real time in Denmark? This moving here?
No, I've had some trips to Copenhagen before. I've had when I was I think 11 or 12. I went to Fyn with my family actually. I don't have that many memories, but they told me that we did, so I should just believe them.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a certain picture about this country in general, and that's also something that was just confirmed when I moved here. So the good picture I had before was.
Yeah. So you seem happy. You don't miss Germany, or do you?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. No.
Because it's more common today, but German players are not the ones who are going away that much compared to so many other nationalities. But you can recommend it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But for so many different reasons. I always thought about leaving Germany, and I thought about going way further away, to be honest. But just to I wouldn't say it's a whole different culture here than it is in Germany, but just the small differences in atmosphere, the small differences in how people are in conversations, how people behave. And just, I don't know, just leave your safe, your how you say, your comfort zone. I would always recommend that. Maybe not when you're 18, but at a certain age, when you're still young, especially when you're alone, like I am. You can just go wherever, and I would recommend that to everyone.
Yeah, great. I'll just switch to Danish for a few seconds again, and then we can speak a bit more about your first time in Odense and how you came here. Inden vi går videre, så kommer der lige endnu et budskab på dansk. Jeg vil lige sige tak til vores anden partner, det er Albani, der sørger for, at vi kan slukke tørsten her i efterårsferien. Albani er den trofaste støtte her i Stemmer Fra Ådalen, og vi vil anbefale, at man kigger efter Albani, hvis man skal ud og have en øl eller sodavand her i weekenden. Et af de steder, du kan gøre det, det er hos RUL Bowling i Odense. De er også lige får lidt opmærksomhed her i Stemmer Fra Ådalen, fordi de faktisk er sprunget ombord. Det er et helt nyt og relanceret bowlingcenter på Rugårdsvej i Odense, lige over for TV2. De har givet det hele en stor overhaling og relanceret stedet, og det er enormt hyggeligt, og der er både bowlingbaner og andre sociale spil, samt øl, vand og god mad på menuen. Tak til både Albani og RUL Bowling, og tjek RUL Bowling ud på rul.nu. Yeah, Fiete, we have been talking about the first months in Odense, but I'm quite curious because I don't think I've heard the story from A to Z. How did you end up here in the first place? How was the first connection, and when did you end up deciding to go here?
Well, it started probably with me talking to my former club before the summer break, or asked how they feel about me doing something else, and then very fast we were agreeing on finding a different solution. And then about 2 weeks, or I don't even think it was 2 weeks, but Jurek, the assistant coach, called me, and I know him from early days in Hamburg. So he was calling me, and he would just ask me about my situation, how everything is, and if I'm interested in having a talk with Alex Zorniger and him about a potential move to Denmark. And I thought that he heard I was available, or I'm looking for something. He did not.
Okay.
So it was more a coincidence that or a positive thing for me, because they would have asked me regardless. And then of course I said yes. So talked to them the first time, which gave me a first good view about the club and everything, and the situation, especially for me individually. But then of course it was the first thing that I even heard from a club. So I said I will have to think about it for 10 days or something. And they just kept calling me again, and were like, so what's happening? And I had a good feeling. I just wanted to kind of wait what else there could be. And then after we talked for the second time, I was talking to my agent and talking to myself and my family. I was like, yeah, but everything that I thought about doing now and everything that I wanted to achieve with my next move is pretty much there.
Okay.
And it was very, very fitting. What I expected, what I said that I want to learn, what I said I can bring to the table, and it was very similar to what the coaches saw in me as a player and as a person. So then I was like, okay, why wait for something else when this is very fitting?
Yeah.
So
it was the first club who reached out to you.
Yes.
Was OB okay? And you weren't scared about joining a club who just promoted from the Danish second tier. I know OB has a huge past, but it's not the biggest club in Denmark. You didn't think it was too big a step down from the Bundesliga?
I have to say, I didn't make the step here because I desperately want to come, or it was not meant to be a step where I'm thinking, okay, but after then I play a good season and then I will go there and there and there. I just, at the point I was in my career, I felt like I want to go somewhere where I really feel comfortable and not think about the future or what happens after or what I could achieve. I just thought, okay, this sounds like I could fit in there. And then sometimes it's not the biggest clubs or not the biggest names. And my situation, I knew I was not that interesting for the big clubs. So I was more looking about me, not just as a player, but also as a person, what could be a good match for me. And that was very fitting. And I did not really care about the success of the past years or how the club will probably be the next.
Okay. So has it lived up to your expectations? The things you said that you wanted to do in the next step of your career, leaving Germany, has the first 4 months lived up to your expectations or your hopes?
I think the first 2 or 3 did.
Okay.
And that was the first step that I wanted to make. And now it's time for the second one. It's time for time to develop other parts that we talked about already today. Yeah. But yeah, this is so far what I hoped for it to be. And if we have a bit more success, then it would be perfect. But I feel happy. I liked it. I love the team. I have so many players and so many friends and people every day that are just making me feel that I did the right thing.
Yeah. Okay. And in the beginning, there was a lot of focus on you and your past and the luggage you came to Denmark with. You made a lot of interviews talking about your time in Germany, your time in Hamburg and Bayern Munich and stuff like that. How has it been to tell that story over and over again during the past months here?
It's not just the past months here.
Okay.
And of course, when you're new at some place, especially here, I know that it's a thing. I know that there are not many players coming to Denmark with certain clubs in their past. So I get it. It's probably more annoying to me because even in Germany, when everybody heard the story like 10 times already, I still had to talk about it over and over again. And I feel like compared to other people that have a similar career, I always felt like I had to talk about it way too often and answer the same questions over and over again when I really just want to be a normal guy, to be honest. I just want to be in the present. It won't help me what happened in the past. It won't help me to think about the far future. And at some point in my career, I really want to enjoy what I'm doing because in the end, I'm doing what I love the most. Yeah. But I had a hard time during my whole career to actually enjoy that.
Okay. And I guess because you've made all those interviews and the Danish media have told that story a lot, so everybody knows that you had an early breakthrough in Hamburg, then you went to Bayern Munich, you went further to Holstein Kiel, and you had some struggles on the way, and there was an extreme hype of your talent. So I don't want to talk that much about that. I just have 2 questions about the time in Germany. Do you look back on that time now as a closed chapter? Is it behind you now? It doesn't feel anything in your body, on your mind anymore?
No, it's a weird feeling because it actually doesn't. And that's I have to say for some years now. So the last 1 or 2 years, whenever I was reminded back, it just felt like So it's not really a trigger point anymore. But yes, I have to say, and that's also one of the reasons why I probably said right now I cannot imagine to go back there because I'm enjoying to be far away from that, and I don't even know what the Danish media said about all that because I did not read it. I don't understand it, so it's not that I'm actually realizing what the Danish media is doing out of my, because I'm still in my safe zone. still have my German phone, so I only get German news.
Okay.
So no, I'm trying to secure my inner peace from all of that.
Of course. And still, of course, I can't help being curious about, you have been in contract on one of the greatest clubs in the world. Did you learn anything in Bayern Munich that you can use today? Do you have anything from that time with you on the field, in the training ground, in your way you play, in the way you're going into games, where you think, oh, I actually learned that from the best ones? Do you?
Of course, there is, when you just look at technical things and football-based things, of course, there's a thousand things. But I think most of the things that impressed me there was that the main players, the guys that we call stars, the world-class players, were probably the most humble ones that I have met in my career. So always hardworking, and you could tell they have a different type of spark when it comes to doing more and to improve themselves every single day. You could tell it's a different thing there. But when the work was done and you're in the locker room, it's just like any other regular locker room. And especially for me, being a very quiet and young guy that felt like I'm probably the least important person right here. It was quite interesting and nice to see that there were still some players that you would consider, I take David Alaba or Joshua Kimmich as examples, that they would not care about your role in the team. They just saw you as a teammate and they would take care of you, especially when you had a rough time. So that was something that I respected the most, and of course want to show myself and develop this trait myself. Yeah.
So when if you are sitting next to Elias Hansborg or Magnus Andersson or some of the other young guys in the dressing room, you'll try to be in the same way as the stars in Bayern München were in front of you?
I think it's, of course, should be way easier for me because I'm not halfway close to the way they are. But yeah, and that's what I'm saying, especially in difficult situations. That's one of the traits that I want to have and that I want to bring into the team, because as long as I'm having this certain role that I have, of course it will probably give one or the other player even more if I'm one of the guys coming to them and trying to build them up again. So yeah, it's funny when you use Elias, for example, as an example, because I feel so close mentally to Elias that I would never compare this to the situation I had in Munich.
Okay, I understand. Okay, thinking about your past, do you feel you have something to prove here in Odense?
No.
To yourself or to anyone else? No?
No, I don't think I have. I don't think I should feel that way. Because I really I know I'm the best player and the best version of myself when I feel comfortable and when I feel, kind of safe where I am. And as I said, my main focus is to create some surrounding, and of course in my job, also privately, that I can enjoy. So more forcing myself to enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy to live at a very beautiful place, to play for a very nice football club, and in the best way, being an important player to gain some success.
Very understandable. Just a few questions in the end here. Last part of the interview, I would like to ask you a bit about your thoughts on the future. And I've heard you said now that you don't think about several years ahead from here. So on the short term, there's a game on Sunday, yes, but what about the rest of the season? What are your expectations for and hopes for this season with OB?
I mean, in the end, if you can always see the bigger picture, I think where we are right now, it's still about making small steps, because obviously when you look at the last games, you can see there is something, but it's not complete yet. You can tell we have qualities, we have things that other teams don't have that much, but it's not stable enough. So it still feels like my goal, not for the season. The goal is to stay in the league. That's very, very easy. And I think now we have 11 games to prove that this is not just a saying, but the only thing that we should be talking about right now. But short term, of course, finally making that one step to not have this kind of of differences in the games. And then, of course, we will still lose games at the second half of the season. And probably we won't have 11 clean sheets now and just solve all of the problems. But I think the way we do things on the pitch, there are so many things that we could improve short term as well. And then I think if you look how similar and how close everything is, that could be already a big step ahead to some other teams.
Okay, and what if we look a bit further than just this season? You have a contract until 2028. You talked about potential before. What do you hope to achieve during your time in Odense?
I mean, as long as I'm here, I would love to have better results from season to season, because this is what we were talking about from the first day, to have a project and not just we play one good season and then everybody leaves. So like we want to, and I'm pretty sure that I'm on the same page like the coaches or Troels Bech is, create something that has more longevity than just the season. So of course everyone has the same goal in this club, I think, and that is to at one point, hopefully very soon, be further away from the relegation zone and closer to the top teams. So yeah, to not to be there, but to come closer from month to month, from season to season, to be back, that the demanding fans can finally be happy again.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you already said that you don't dream about going back to the Bundesliga tomorrow or in the winter. But what are your? You must have some ambitions or dreams for the future on your own behalf. You don't have?
I definitely do, but I think it's not focused on football that much. Because I think most of my past years were not that nice and not that beautiful, because I put too much of my life into this, and my mood was too much depending on the results and the situation I had in football. So I'm very glad that I can say I have seen the highest of the highs and the lowest of lows as well. So I'm pretty much open-minded for a lot of things. I just had 4 months here, but I saw and I proved myself how good I can feel to not be in my comfort zone, or to not do the easiest things that every other guy would do as well. So it's more to keep a stable mindset about, and always be open to do something. Yeah, to do something weird as well, something that not everybody would do.
Okay, sounds good. I have just 2 questions left, and one of them is a bit annoying, I guess, because in the beginning of the season, people were very they were very excited about the way you entered the league, and there was already after 2 games or 3 games there was speculation about, does he have a clause in his contract that gives the possibility to leave the club after a half year, or if a bigger club comes or the right amount comes. Is that true? Do you have a clause or a possibility to leave the club in January?
It's funny because I never had to answer such a question.
That's why I said it was annoying.
No, I feel kind of happy that this is a topic, but I will definitely not leave in January.
Okay.
And there is no option to do that as well.
Okay.
But from both sides.
Okay. So I know it's maybe controversial to get the contract questions in an interview, but I gave it a try, and
that's fine.
You gave an honest answer. Thank you for that. So just one final question. Let's end this conversation with the most short-term question I could find, and that's of course the game on Sunday in Viborg. You won the first game against them. What do you think about that game?
I think, and now I'm going back to the beginning of the conversation. The situation you have after an international break is not a regular league situation, because both teams had one more week to prepare. You probably have one or two players more than you had the last game, and especially the first part of the second half. Now you play against teams that you have played before. Now you can also prepare with things that includes you and the opponent team. And there's only one thing I have in mind right now, and that is to get the first away win.
Yeah,
we were close too many times to not have one yet. So that is not looking on Viborg specifically, and just looking on us, because we have to win some away games at some point.
Yeah.
So that might be a good start on Sunday.
Let's hope that. For the last time, a few words in Danish, and then I'll say goodbye to you.
That's fine. I will try to learn something as well.
Ja, jeg vil lige sige tak til vores gode partnere, Albani og Fynske Bank. Også tak til RUL Bowling i Odense, og tak til vores medlemmer af Klub SFÅ. Fiete, thank you so much for joining us.
I just heard bowling. Is there a good bowling place here?
Yeah, there is. We just had a new sponsor. They have just 1 mile that way. So maybe you should go bowling.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, Birgi and company. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming here. So nice.
Thanks for the invite.
Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Bitter, det er noget, man drikker. Har I oplevet noget lignende? Jeg har sgu ikke det.
Du har lyttet til en podcast fra Stemmer Fra Ådalen. Udsendelsen var bragt i samarbejde med Fynske Bank og Albani. Vi siger også tak til RUL Bowling og til vores medlemmer af Klub SFÅ.